I don't know how it's going to work. I'm having a hell of a time figuring all this out. This is the original decision. And if you look right here, this is what got me started. Exhibit 13D. Okay, let me minimize this. Now, here's the exhibit list for the evidence. And if you scroll down here, let me move over a little bit. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit. And I'm going to adjust again. But you'll see, oops, it doesn't go to 13D. There's 1 through 7D. I'm going to scroll down so you can see all of this. And then I'm going to try to move the camera. You can see it goes down as far as 10F, 10E, 7D, uh, 11B, and 2A. So, that got me curious, because this says, the claimant appears to originally have an onset date of November 6, 1998. Now, how this ever got changed to March or whenever, but they keep referring to these exhibits like, so let's go to 2D. Here's 2D. Now, this is an amendment of the onset date, but I never filled this out. This isn't me. Every form I ever filled out was signed by me, and I made copies of it. So, there's the first problem. Let's go back to the decision real quick. When I subsequently applied for Title 16 benefits on April 20th, well, I filed on April 10th of 2010. Now he says, I alleged an onset date of January 23rd, Exhibit 1D. Okay, so let's go to 1D. And look, it's another electronic file created by I have no idea who. Okay, so enough of that. Now we're going to get rid of the evidence list for a second. And the decision. Don't mind the girl there, she's a cutie. Now we're going to go to this. And I'm going to quickly explain these. I don't want this video dragging out too long. This is a disability report from the field office. And look, it has that alleged onset date as 1/23/2009. And I have no clue what a protective filing date is, but this says protective filing date 3/27/11. Okay, now let's go to the next one. Abbreviated DIB review sheet. I have no idea what this is, but look. Right here is my onset date. 11/06/98. I never changed anything, so I have no clue where they're getting this from. The next one. Great Lakes Medical Evaluations. SSA sent me for a physical, a complete internal medicine exam. This is what they did. And I'm going to read this. It says, the patient presents today for evaluation of the following complaints: heart attack, shoulder, back, neck injury, abdominal rupture, arthritis, severe, nerve damage in leg, neck, tremors, dizziness, and ringing in the ears. No physician-patient relationship was established. This 56-year-old male sustained multiple injuries as a result of a work accident in November 1998. When he fell 15 feet off a high-low, landing face down and hitting his abdomen on a metal step, causing rupture. Although he does not know exactly what was injured, he required abdominal surgery at the time of the injury. He developed pain in his back and neck as a result of the accident, as well as in his right shoulder. which has required several surgical procedures. In 2002, the patient had 2 stents placed in his heart. He had a number of cardiac events, believing that none have been specifically designed as myocardial infarctions. He is unable to afford medications currently, but should be taking Plavix and Norvax on a daily basis and nitroglycerin on a per-needed basis. The patient is able to drive and finds it hard to perform his activities of daily living. He cannot climb stairs easily and estimates he can walk a few blocks before needing to stop and rest. He has occasional episodes of tremors, dizziness, and ringing in his ears. Past medical history, other than above, non-contributory to this examination. Medications, Plavix, Norvax, nitroglycerin, as needed. Mr. Hammond's mother died at age 69 with COPD. His father committed suicide in his 30s. He has 2 brothers, both healthy. Now, this is their whole medical evaluation. This is an internal medicine exam that SSA had them perform on me. Now, I have no idea what this is again, but it just says possible gaps in earnings. Well, yeah, I was injured. Okay, now this is a function report, and if you'll notice, I filled this form out. Once an employer finds out about my restrictions, I don't get considered, can't lift more than 10 or 20 pounds, can't stand very long or sit, have the shakes, dizziness all the time. Okay, here's another one that is part of the case development sheet. And I have no clue what it's in here, but I got it here anyway. Now, here's some more parts. I never worked for Straits Steel and Wire in Fort Smith, Arkansas, so I don't know where this crap comes from. Work history form. I mean, here it is. Job title, IT Director. Computer printer person. Type of business, Kasuni. KMI. Dates worked, 2007 to 2009, where I started at $12.50 an hour and ended at $15 an hour. Now, this is Dr. Girish Juneja stating that I may return to work full-time under these restrictions dating 12/6/99. Patient may return to work as long as restrictions fall within the FCE guidelines. Okay, Functional Capacity Evaluation Guidelines, which CareTrack did. Now, I don't know where this came from. It just says films showed displacement occurring. Open reduction internal fixation was done by Dr. Asperheim. Because of continued problems with his shoulder, he sought the opinion of Dr. Susan Day, who did arthroscopic slap lesion repair August of 1999. Following that, he has had excellent recovery in terms of his range of motion and 50% improvement in his pain. He underwent interdisciplinary evaluation by CareTrack Rehabilitation Services in Grand Rapids. They felt it was a valid test, and the report sets forth the goals for his recent treatment, which has now finished. Objective, la-di-da, would require work status. Greg Hammond would require permanent restrictions for the use of his right arm. He should not work frequently at or above waist level or at activities requiring abduction of right arm or rapid and repetitive motions. He should not participate in lifting more than 20 pounds occasionally, 5 pounds on a frequent basis with his right arm. I do not believe Greg Hammond requires any ongoing treatment at the present time. He is not taking any medication. Further physical therapy will not give him any lasting benefits. He needs to get on his life and find some gainful employment within his capabilities. I'm sorry, ever since this stroke I have a hard time talking. This is an actual X-ray of the shoulder. And you can see where everything is broke. This is the bone. That's how much of that bone broke off. Now, this is ambulatory care clinic. this is the doctor that DHS sent me to. And multiple arthritis, la-di-da, this, that, and the other. But here's the important part. The medical history. And if you look down here, see this X right here? This means I'm qualified. Here, let me get over there. See that X right there? That means I'm qualified. Well, for 2 months I didn't know what that meant. So I called and asked. And she says, well, that means you're disabled. And it also says the long-term prognosis is not good. All right. I have no clue what this is, but let's see if we can. See if I can zoom in on this. Oh, based on this evaluation, the factors underlying the claimant's limitations appear to be lack of endurance in right shoulder greater than 90 degrees of flexion. Mr. Hammond also complains of pain in the right shoulder with increased repetitions. According to the job designation provided by Michigan Wire, the client's ability to do job requirements, specifically Mr. Hammond was unable to lift at a shoulder angle of greater than 90 degrees. This would compromise his job performance to overhead activities such as lifting, reaching, climbing, la-di-da, la-di-da. The job demands reported appear to involve a significant amount of overhead. Something demonstrated Mr. Hammond's ability or refluidity, I don't know. It just says I can't do anything over 90 degrees with my arm. And that's some evaluator for physical therapy that I went to. Now, here's from CareTrack. Look, I can sit constantly. I can stand frequently. I can kneel frequently. And I can recline frequently. Occasionally, elevated work, standing. Lowered work, standing. Lowered work, sitting. Never. Squatting occasionally. So I can sit constantly. I can stand frequently. Occasionally I can stand at elevated work and lowered work. I can never lowered work. So there's that evaluation. I can climb stairs, repetitive squat, walking, crawling, ladder climbing, trunk rotation, occasionally. And I mean, it just goes on and on and on. This says I can't lift 32 pounds. If I do, I'm in trouble. even though the restrictions state 20. I have no clue what this is. This is the State of Michigan Administrative Hearing System Summary Order of Disposition. On 2/8/12, the Department of Human Services received a request for hearing in this matter for the program listed below: retroactive Medicaid and state disability. Which means I was approved. Therefore, the request for hearing is dismissed and the local office of the DHS is hereby ordered to immediately implement the eligibility determination of SHRT, including necessary computer entries. That's dated in March of 12. And this is the state hearing review team. And I'm just going to go down to the analysis. Well, now let's just go recommended decision. The claimant is not currently engaging in substantial gainful activity based on the information that is available in file. The claimant's impairments do not meet the intent of severity of a Social Security listing. The medical evidence of record indicates that the claimant does not retain the capacity to perform even sedentary work on a sustained basis. Therefore, MAP, which is Medicaid, is approved using Vocation Rule 201.00H in parentheses as a guide. Retroactive Medicaid was considered and in this case is approved back to August of 2011. At the medical review of 9/12, requested medical records from the last 6 months were used. Oh, stenosis. That's in here too. This is that disabled form again. Only a different version that says I'm disabled from ambulatory care clinic. This is part of that same one. I don't know how many pages are here. Okay, I sent a letter to Miss Pat Saldivar, and I'm not sure if it's the ODAR office or the DDS office. But it says, after receiving the SHRT decision over the weekend, I went through it with a fine-tooth comb and found many errors. Granted, the decision is correct, but the information contained in the medical information section is not correct. The recommended decision states the claimants do not meet or equal the intent or severity of a Social Security listing. This is totally wrong based on the disability evaluation under Social Security Blue Book dated September 2008. Section 1.00 Musculoskeletal System Adult, which states disorders of the spine listed in 104 result in limitations because of distortion of the bony and la-di-da, including la-di-da or spinal cord. Such impingement on nerve tissue may result from herniated la-di-da, I can't pronounce that, spinal stenosis, which I have, or other miscellaneous conditions. Now here's the actual diagnosis. Multi-level spondylosis and or disc herniation in conjunction with facet orthopathy causing spinal canal and foramal stenosis as described. This appears most marked at the C3, C4, and C5, C6 levels. Mrs. Saldivar, this very specifically meets the Social Security list of impairments. The report also makes no mention of the subacute infarct, stroke, described in the medical evaluation. The SHRT refers numerous times to the medical exam dated 5/11, which was with the SSA doctor, which I have stated was not a proper internal medical exam. It did not include any range of motion tests on my right shoulder, which has very limited use since 1998 as documented in the functional capacity evaluation done by CareTrack. I'm afraid that this SHRT misinformation contained could throw a wrench into a timely SSI RSDI decision. So, and they never did anything. Here's the disability exactly. I meet it. Why I was denied, I don't know. That's how far behind I was on at the house payments at that time. That's a copy of a money order to catch up my house payments. Here is one of the eviction notices, which they consider to be dire need and compassionate allowance. I don't know what that is. But I think that's it. This whole decision, oh, here's the actual diagnosis that meets the adult listing of impairments. Here's the other one. I mean, these are all from Sparrow. I have all these records from MSU Spine Center. They sent me down there for. I'm trying to read here. La-di-da-di-da-di-da. Oh, this just states that I sent all the records that I had, and nobody ever informed me that I didn't have records. Oh, this says, on a personal note, I don't want this to sound like a sob story, just a true dire need case. At this time, I'm 6 months behind on my house and house insurance. I have no money for consumers to get my electricity on. They had my gas and electricity shut off 2 days after my stroke. And I can't afford car insurance, and I have no cash to use for gas to get to doctor's appointments and treatments. I don't know what that is. That's that same disabled thing again. Now this is from the DHS. This is the long-term care case manager, Jonathan Baer. Mr. Hammond, there is nothing I can do through DHS to affect a Social Security Administration ruling. The approval of your disability status by the State Hearing Review Team means, for DHS purposes, you are considered disabled according to the disability standards of SSA until the review date, at which time DHS sends new records to MRT to review the disability status. Jonathan Baer, long-term care. So I'm disabled by DHS using SSA standards, but SSA won't disable me. Does that make any sense? Here's the actual work restrictions from Dr. Cegelski after the stroke. Is sitting affected? Yes. Must periodically alternate sitting and standing to relieve pain or discomfort. Is pushing and pulling affected? Yes. Limited in upper extremities. Weakness, la-di-da, in upper extremities, post something spinal problem. Climbing, occasionally. Balancing, never. Kneeling, never. Crouching, never. Crawling, never. Stooping, never. Status post-stroke, PT, patient has left side numbness. Patient has spinal stenosis. Okay, here's the next page. Manipulative limitations. Reaching all directions, limited. Handling, gross manipulation, limited. Fingering, limited. Pushing, feeling, limited. I can reach, handle, finger, feel occasionally. Seeing, unlimited. Hearing, unlimited. Speaking, unlimited. And environmental limitations is unlimited in temperature extremes, noise, dust, vibration, humidity, wetness, hazards, machinery, heights, fumes, odors, and chemical gases. Now, here's the interesting part. This is the initial denial. Look, the following information was used in deciding this claim. Academic Surgical Associates dated 5/9/11, Spectrum Health dated 5/3/11, and Great Lake Medical Evaluations, which is that dipstick SSA doctor. The medical information we obtained was sufficient to make a decision. Okay, look at that, 3 medical reports. I'm sure they all back my claim. But look, here's the evidence list. Unsuccessful attempt to obtain medical records from Spectrum Health on 5/3/2011. Oh look, 3F, unsuccessful attempt to obtain medical records from Academic Surgical Associates on 5/9. So, let's go to the next page. Look at this. No records for date of service specified in request on the medical records request for Greg Hammond. This is from Spectrum Health to DDS. Oh look! DDS sent a form to Academic Surgical Associates. Look, I have no information on this patient. So, the following information was used in deciding this claim. Well, Academic Surgical, they got no report. Spectrum Health, they got no report. But did they let me know? No. Now, here's the State Hearing Review Team decision. That's not a big deal. Here's the actual MRI of the brain. And look, this is what I sent them. I sent new medical in file, sent all this stuff to DHS and to DDS and to SSA. Oh, I'm clicking the wrong one. This is from my family doctor. This is from my family doctor. Look at this, my earnings record. So that goes back to 1971. And look, right here, October of 2009, disability. If your current earnings are at least as much as your most recent earnings shown on page 3, you may qualify for payment of about $902 a month. So, to me, that says I'm insured through October of 2009. Well, they have it as something in 2006, March of 2006. See, here's another one of those alleged onset dates that I never had anything to do with. Now, somewhere in here, oh, this is what they based my denial on. This is the Great Lakes Medical Evaluations. I mean, one paragraph that says starts out with no physician-patient relationship was established. And look at this. Disability non-exclusion insured test not met. I don't know what that means. But disability exclusion, fully insured status met. Disabled is fully insured. Fully insured status met. I mean, how much? Okay, I'm done. Please take the time to listen to this. They have got me so screwed up, and it turns out right from the very initial determination, which they based on 3 medical reports, 2 which they didn't have, and the 3rd was not even a medical examination. Thanks. Chief Judge, he does not oversee all the